Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Nate, and welcome back to another weather forecast discussion for February 18th, 2022. As many of you know, we had a little appetizer to severe weather season that occurred yesterday in the deep south. Even though there were tornadoes that spawned, it could have been a lot worse. I appreciate every single person who came out to the stream and helped share the information with as many people as possible, especially since some of that information could have been crucial to those who were impacted. So what happens after that? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the weather models here with the simulated radar and the Euro model. Of course, the date and time is above me in Eastern, and you can see here with the simulated radar, we have a little bit of a low pressure system here, a clipper system that's creating some blizzard-like conditions across the board over there that is currently ongoing. That'll continue to move off towards portions of Quebec and the Northeast, and then we have another clipper system even after that that'll push on through again over the same exact areas. While that is going on from Sunday into Monday, snow and rain will occur off and towards portions of the northwestern United States and British Columbia, as well as Alberta. And then as this continues to move about, well, we have a new low pressure system that begins to develop and form here. This will then in turn create severe weather down here for the south and create some winter weather up here in the north. And this is going to be a little bit of a pattern here. This will push on through, and then it's going to create another storm that's going to do that here from Thursday into Friday, to where once again, very similar to a couple days prior, winter in the north and severe weather into the south. But the interesting thing here that I want to point out is that the winter weather does occur a lot further south than what this latter storm actually did. You can see how portions of Oklahoma City, even towards portions of Wichita Falls, get into the activity, and that's going to be something to watch out for. Even towards St. Louis, you guys get some of that activity as well. And the GFS paints a similar picture here, guys. You can see our low pressure system here on portions from Friday into Saturday, move on through the Great Lakes, and then this ends up moving towards the northeast. We get another clipper that moves on through, and then we get our low pressure system that moves on through and ends up pushing off towards the north and east as well, creating winter weather for the north and severe weather for the south. That is a key pattern here for the most part as to what's going to be happening from now on, because lo and behold, we have another system that begins to form here, and this time with the GFS, it is a lot further south than what the Euro says, even has some wintry precipitation for portions of the mid-Atlantic as well. This is going to be a system to watch out for, especially as we get closer and closer from Thursday into Friday, all right? But on the other hand, severe weather could potentially exist over here from portions of Mississippi down to Louisiana. So it's another double whammy here, another system that looked very similar to what occurred yesterday. So what these patterns mean for the most part is that we're going to be dealing with relatively cool temperatures throughout all the way until March, all right? And the way to take a look at this is our temperature anomalies on the left-hand side, and then our actual temperatures here on the right-hand side. And we can see here as this progresses from Friday into Saturday, well, much of the Great Lakes is below average with their temperatures here. And you can see that across the board here with our actual temperatures. We're getting below freezing in some spots, and another cool spell could be moving across that area, as well as we shift from Sunday into Monday. Look at all of that bottled up cold air that is up into portions of Canada. Look at this, well below 0 degrees in Fahrenheit. And of course, we have below 30 degrees on average for your temperatures across portions of the prairies of Canada. And that will move further south. Look at all those pinks and the anomalies. Below 40 degrees on average for some of these areas here of the central to northern plains into the Rockies. And this is expected to seep further and further down south towards portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Look at this, guys. Areas here in towards the freezing temperature line, our Arctic boundary does dig deep further and further south as this progresses. And then you also have a big cold front that is going to be creating some severe weather that'll push on through. So a big emphasis here on a double whammy. We have a winter storm on top of a severe weather system that'll be pushing on throughout this entire week. And then we have another spell here of cold air that are just going to continue to linger after all this. There's just been so much cold air that has been brought down here from Canada that it's just going to linger across the board at this point. All right, look at this, guys. Relatively cool temperatures as low as the single digits to as high as about 40 degrees that is expected across much of the United States, including portions of California. So this is going to be something really interesting. But then as we shift over to the next week from the end of February into March, we are expecting things to get a little bit warmer here as we progress on through in towards meteorological spring. Real quickly here before we get into the in-depth analysis portion of the video, if you are enjoying the content so far, please be sure to leave a like, as this does help me get this information to more and more people on YouTube. That's how YouTube's algorithm works. And if you copy the link to the video and spread it with places like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even text messages, you are also helping me get the information out to more and more people. Subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all the latest content that I will be providing, especially with these storms as we get closer and closer to them actually happening. Now, in order to get an idea as to how this all occurs and why this all happens, we got to understand what's happening right now. And in order to do that, we got to take a look at the current satellite imagery to give us an idea as to what the general flow of the environment is. And we can see a couple things. First off, we see our clipper that's moving on through. This is creating a lot of blizzard conditions across portions of Wisconsin heading off towards Lake Michigan. And so areas in Michigan as well as Ontario near Detroit and Windsor, you guys are going to probably see some whiteout conditions. We have a lot of these blue boxes that are over here indicating snow squall warnings, low visibility, as well as 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts within this general time frame is definitely possible across the board. And that's the reason why we have a lot of these blue polygons across this area. So please watch out. Even out ahead of this, you guys could potentially see some blinding conditions. But then on the other hand, we also have our new developing low pressure system that is going to curl off towards portions of the central United States. That is going to continue to be the case here. And then on the other hand, we also have a developing high pressure system, or at least we already have a high pressure system over here and towards portions of Central America into the Gulf of Mexico. You can see this clockwise flow right within here, and that this high pressure system is eventually going to move further and further towards the north, eventually steering these low pressure systems off and towards the central United States. So that is the reason why that is there. And then, of course, last but not least, we have a steady stream of wind shear that is moving across from the southern United States all the way out towards the East Coast. So now we're going to take that information that we just learned and put it straight into the 500 millibar wind shear level, which is about 6 kilometers above ground level, our upper level wind shear here. And we can see a couple things. First off, whenever you see a dip in the jet stream like this, you know that a low pressure system is towards the north of that. And so that's one thing to consider. And then you also have our high pressure system that is off of the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula down there in Mexico. So this is relatively accurate for the most part. And let's see how this continues to play on through our low pressure system as our clipper starts to move on through. And then we also have our surface low pressure that's off of the coast of the western United States right over here. This is eventually going to be steered up further and further, because look at this high pressure system now. It is starting to move further and further north. And then bang, bang, boom, we're going to have our big event that's going to move on about winter into the north, because you have a lot of this cold air that's coming in behind this, and then you have a lot of moisture coming in from the south, meaning our severe weather event into the south right along there. And that is expected to continue, as well as another low pressure system over towards portions of the western United States. This is going to move on through here again. Boom, we have another event. Boom, we have our high pressure system that's over here towards Florida. So that's the reason why things just don't continue to move off further towards the south. It gets steered off towards the north because of that clockwise flow. And so that is the reason why we're having another event that's over here towards the central portions of the United States again, winter into the north, and severe weather into the south. Now let's take it down a level lower to the 850 millibar wind shear, which is about 1 kilometer above ground level. This is our low level jet, and this is going to tell us a couple of things. First off, it tells us that we still have significant wind shear off of the coast of the eastern United States. And on the other hand, our clipper is bringing a lot of cold air behind this. You can see the flow of wind shear behind this that is dragging that cold air further and further towards the south and east from the north and west. And that is expected to continue. We have another clipper that moves on through, bringing more cold air behind this. And then that's the reason why we're going to have our next severe weather event. Our low pressure system forms and starts to move off further towards the north and east, bringing a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. You can see the flow of wind shear from the south to the north from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's the reason why severe weather will exist across some of those portions. And then as this continues to progress further and further, our wind shear gets more and more significant, meaning that there probably will be some regional severe weather risk across the board over there. And then we have our new low pressure system that's going to begin to form here. Look at this flow here, this counterclockwise flow off the coast of California. And we already have some flow from the Gulf of Mexico, that's getting into portions of Texas, bringing moisture into that general area. Could be some severe weather, could be some winter weather in that area. There's a lot of cold air around that general vicinity. So it just really depends upon how much cold air interacts with that moisture, and that can determine as to how much wintry precipitation or severe weather you guys can get within that area. But the general time frame here is that there's 2 batches of storms, one of which is from Monday and Tuesday, and then the other one is from Thursday into Friday. So that's something that you guys need to continue to watch out for, as well as another Clipper system that more than likely will move off from Saturday into Sunday towards the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and Ontario and Quebec. So something to watch out for that. All right, so now we're going to take a look at how moist the environment is, or in this case, if you're in the northern portions of the United States and Canada, how dry the environment is going to be. And you already see that Clipper is really dry across the board for the most part with how low our dew points are in those areas. That'll move on through and bring a lot of cold, dry air. You can see how this massive wave just plunges on through and creates a lot of cool, dry air to just move further and further. And then here's our next system. From Monday into Tuesday, you see a lot of warm, moist air advect further and further north. And that's the reason why there could potentially be a severe weather risk somewhere along this cold front right within here, and even in the open warm sector could potentially see some storms within some of those areas. Not anticipating this to be a super significant event. I'm seeing at maximum a 5% chance for tornadoes, but otherwise maybe a localized 2% risk. So maybe the event will be more of a strong damaging wind risk in my opinion throughout some of those areas. But then as we shift from Thursday into Friday, well, you can see how we have a big cold front that surges on through. A lot of that moisture gets channeled right along that area, so strong damaging winds is likely from Thursday into Friday. And then, of course, look at all that cold, dry air that comes in behind this system, creating a lot of dry air, a lot of dry conditions across the board in this general area. So something to watch out for. Even after this, you can see how much of the United States is enveloped by this cold and dry air. So where can these thunderstorms exist? Well, let's take a look at the instantaneous flash rate to tell us as to how many lightning strikes could occur within 6 hours. So let's go from Monday into Tuesday. Oh, we got some activity over there in Louisiana and Mississippi. How about Tuesday into Wednesday? Ooh, we get a lot of activity over here from Texas into Arkansas, even across portions of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. Across this general area, a lot of precipitation occurs over here. And then from Wednesday into Thursday, not as much. And then from Thursday into Friday, well, that's when our cold front starts to surge on through. And so a new wave of severe weather could exist around this general time frame from Thursday into Friday. And then that seems to be relatively it for this week. So if you were to ask me as to what the most life-threatening threat is going to be for this entire event for the entire week, it's going to be the flash flooding. Look at all this area here indicated in the red. This is 4 to even 6 inches of rainfall possible, with even up to 8 inches localized in some spots within this general area. Within some creeks, streams, and rivers, flash flooding can occur, and that is the most hazardous cause to life and property for weather in all of weather. All right, that is the most life-threatening parameter for weather, is the flooding. It's the thing that has caused the most deaths across the board, and that's because people don't turn around, and in this case they drown. So turn around, don't drown, don't drive in the flooded roadways, because the actual floods can appear a lot shallower than they actually are, and that's the reason why you see all those cars trapped into the floods that you see on the news. It's all because they thought that they could drive through, they got stuck, and therefore their cars are now stuck in a giant flooded roadway. So what about the maximum snow totals? Well, let's take a look here. GFS is on the left and Euro is on the right. These are two different opinions as to how much snow could fall within some of these areas. And the big thing here to notice is that it's relatively constant that the northern portions of the United States is going to still get some snow. But the other thing here to mention is that the GFS isn't really showing a whole lot of snow across portions of the Central Plains in towards the Ohio River Valley. So that's something to monitor there. The Euro does say that could be the case here, but that's for the most part the big identifiable factor for these areas, is that some areas probably won't see some snow here because it's starting to shift towards spring. A lot of that warm air is going to start to rise and it's going to start to seep further and further towards the north. But because we still have a lot of cold air that's coming in behind, it's not really feeling like spring quite yet. So that's the reason why we're still expecting more and more snow. Of course, the hot zones, if I were to watch out for the amount of snow, areas near Quebec and Ontario, you guys are still going to get a lot of snow. I mean, Quebec City, you guys need to watch out for some significant amounts of snow, probably in upwards of 2 feet to maybe even 3 feet within your general area is expected over the time frame of the next week. And even up here in the Pacific Northwest, you guys are anticipated to still get a lot more snow here according to both models. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Not a whole lot of stuff to talk about because it's relatively broad at this time. Of course, I will be continuing to upload videos, but I can't upload tomorrow because I will be relatively busy. So Sunday is when our next upload will be. It'll be sometime around 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 8 p.m. Central. So please turn on notifications to stay up to date with that, or just monitor my channel if you guys don't want to turn on notifications. That's around the time frame into which we will get a lot more information on our next winter storm or our severe weather storm. Either way, whichever way you want to put it through, we'll have more information on that as we get there. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family and on social media. Also follow me on social media. Link will be in the description down below. Our give it to me straight question of the day will be, do you think we're going to see another 3 out of 5 in the severe weather scale from now all the way until March? Do you think we will see another 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale? Yes or no? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys on Sunday. Peace out, everyone.